want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. The mission board, we've just been kind of praying and looking into avenues of service for our church. And, we wanted to do something locally. So Copper Basin had got brought up a couple of times to different people brought that up. A few years ago, I met Steve through my stepdad's church, and we had helped them serve there. So I remembered that, so I got his number from David. And so we had asked Steve and his wife Vicki to come tonight to share about their ministry at Copper Basin. And so you guys just be in prayer of how we can serve and, help this area. So I'm going to turn it over to them and let them share with you about the ministry there.
Thank you, guys. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
It's good to be in the Lord's house. It's such good to see how many people's here in God's house on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That's a blessing of the Lord, and I commend you as a body of Christ serving with all capacity. I'm Steve Puckett and my wife Vicki, and we, as a husband and wife, has had a heart for an area this a lot of people don't know nothing about. The way we come in contact with a place called the Copper Basin was we was asked to go on a VBS to a place up in the mountains in a place called Ducktown. I didn't even know a place called Ducktown ever existed. And I says, okay. So we went up, and ever since that moment of time, God has put it on our hearts to be a part of that ministry that's located there. The Copper Basin, a lot of times, I wrote a few notes about the history of it just to help us. Where is the Copper Basin at? The Copper Basin, if you was to go to Cleveland, Tennessee, everyone know where Cleveland is? Off I-75, if you'd go up the Coy River, there's a road called the Copper Road. That's what's the old name of that road, and it winds by the where everyone goes rafting. And at the top of that mountain, you'll find a place called Ducktown. In 5 minutes, you can be in North Carolina. In 10 minutes, you can be in Georgia. Now that's quite interesting, and they even got a little thing out at Ducktown says, this is a quacking good place. So how did a place called the Copper Basin ever come? Back after the Civil War, what happened was this. They had found that in that area there was Indians there, that Indians then went somewhere else, and then actually they found there's copper ore in the ground. Now, how many has ever seen copper ore or copper rock? Even brought one. This is what the rocks in the Copper Basin looks like. And what they did, this after the Civil War, they started mining this up there. And so the way you mine this and get the copper out for like our copper pennies is this. You have to heat it up real hot. And so what they started doing is cutting all the trees there because they had no coal in the area. So what they do, they did a process called sweating. And what they would do, they'd heat this up and separate the rock from the copper and a few other elements. Guess what else happened? That's a chemical process. If you've got anybody in chemistry here, what happens is this. You probably been an engineer. I found out he was a NASA engineer, and I love space, so me and him become best friends real quick.
Not NASA, I was just a contractor.
He was a contractor. But anyway, what happens is, through that process of that heating of that, it creates sulfur dioxide. And so what happened, the sulfur dioxide went up in the atmosphere and it contacted water. And you know what happens when it contacted water? it created a chemical called sulfuric acid. And so what happens is, it literally, when it rained, it was raining acid in the area of the Copper Basin. So how would you like to go outside of your house and it be raining acid? What it did was this. It killed every plant. It killed the animals in that area for 50 square miles. So if you was to do some space stuff, have a satellite looking over that area, it would be just a plain old bald spot like you'd see up on the moon. So nothing could grow, nothing could be there. So what happened was, you've got these people found out that the sulfuric acid made more money than the copper. So then they started bottling it. But the problem was this. When it rained, when you don't have no vegetation on the ground, what happens? Erosion. It just eroded everywhere up there. You didn't have animals, but they continued the process. But what it did is this. It destroyed the area environmentally. It destroyed it. And so what it did, you're not going to be able to have people, you're not going to be able to have jobs and whatnot. But they continue on mining and started trying to straighten things up. In the 1900s, the TVA went in there and started planting in the 1940s 500,000 trees a year. Because of one thing, there wasn't no trees there because they cut them all down for extracting the ore. So what happened after that was this. Literally, they lost the economy through this whole situation. And we have been up there, me and Vicki has been up there, and right below where the Copper Basin Crisis Center is, there was trucks going in and out while we'd be doing VBS. We wondered what that was, and I found out that it was a Superfund being helped to clean the area up. Back 25 years ago, and and this is documented, 25 years ago, the sulfuric acid was still in the groundwater there. And there's only 2 creeks in that immediate area. And in the groundwater got into the streams. And get this, they prove, by scientific proof, there was enough metal being taken out of those 2 streams to build a car, build a car in one day of those streams, the water going through it. So that's how bad a situation the Copper Basin was. And what did it do to the economy? It destroyed. It's kind of like you going to work. So say like all of us here worked at Nissan. Okay. Okay. So everyone, let's just say we work at the facility. Okay. So we make cars. Let's just say we make cars. But anyway, what happened, you go in and you lose all your income.
That's called retirement.
That's called retirement. It's called retirement. But they lost, you lost all the jobs. Just like walking in and say, it's over. It's an EPA hazardous place. And so all these years it's been a Superfund area. It's been cleaned up. And it's cleaned up. And if you was to ride up there today, you'll see trees everywhere. But that has happened since the 1940s. Every tree you see was planted since the 40s. And so that happened, creating that area, that created for the people who did live there, where do I go? When you lose all your income, how do you get out and go somewhere else and live? I've had people ask me this question, says, why don't someone who lives in the Copper Basin, why don't they just get up and go somewhere? How do you get up and go somewhere when you ain't got no money? You got maybe a house to live in or just a place to stay. So through time, the Copper Basin Crisis Center was put in that area, in the Ducktown area. And I will share what the ministry is up there. This is their the actual location here, and this is their other information if you'd wanted to call them. It's run by a couple. It's Jan and Stuart Strickland. And they work there, and that's their ministry, and that's all they do. That's all they do.
They're missionaries.
They're missionaries there. So if you would advance that one picture. This is the aerial view of the facility. This is your entrance. This area over here is actually a closed area. In the month of July, they had a need for 400 people needed clothes. Last month is 387. Matter of fact, I just went by a dear church today. It picked up some clothes for them. And so over here, they have this ministry of clothes. And when clothes comes in the ministry, they have to be sorted, have to be picked, put on hangers. They got room that they got hangers, got hangers and racks in here. So all that is a ministry in itself that anyone, y'all's church could be involved in. This is the main center. In this area, they have the food ministry. And also back here, this is their warehouse, and they have a freezer and a refrigerator back in this particular area. Okay, if you would go to the next one. This is a beautiful site. We've seen it grow over the years. This is an amphitheater. We've had Vacation Bible School. We've had worship services sitting right there over the years. It's been a blessing of the Lord just to praise and worship together. I can remember years and years ago, a dear lady, we had a worship service. She came up front. And she'd been on meth, and she needed to get her life right with the Lord. And I can still remember that. I can still remember a family came up that was living literally in a barn because they had no place. Someone had given them space up in the loft in the barn, and we took them food from the ministry.
Wasp spray.
Huh?
Wasp spray. Wasp.
Oh, okay. She's had to have remind me of a few things, but wasp spray. We had to carry them wasp spray because they had so many wasps in the barn. Okay. This particular ministry comes up there about, they try to do it once a week, and they try to minister them in food, and also they minister them one-on-one, tell them about the Lord. Okay, if you go to the next one. They have had vacation Bible schools. Some churches have went up and say, hey, we want to do a vacation Bible school, or our local church. There have been ministries where churches go up there and go into a local ministry and do that. We have actually did that there. They have had ministries of underwear, sock giveaway, and Vicki has a story she wants to tell you about that. Okay, let's go to the next. Guess who that ugly fella is? Coat blanket giveaway. Me and Vicki has been involved. This is our ministry that the Lord has given us. Hats, coats, and gloves. What we do, we take gently used hats, coats, and gloves up there once a year, and we get up bright and early on the morning, like about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we leave out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we travel with anyone who wants to go. I want to say this, we invite you to come along with us.
Amen. Yes.
We're going November 1st this year. If you got a hat and you got a extra coat you don't need, and probably all of us, to be honest with you, I've got extra ones in my closet. Mm-hmm. Did you hear the amen? So what we do, we take and the things we do is sort them. We sort them between men and women's, boys and girls. And then we have hats. I had a ministry just give some blankets just the other day. And what we do, we'll go travel up there that day, and we'll go into that building, and we'll put all this stuff on racks. And those people come in and visit with you. I had one gentleman come in one time. You ever heard a big old boy? He was a big old boy. Do you know we did not have a coat for him? It broke my heart. I told him this. I said, when we come back next month, you will have what you need. And guess what? When we came back the next month for the Christmas giveaway, he was there. And he got his coat, and he was so happy. So, me and my wife, we head this up, and we go up, like I say, this year will be November 1st. And I invite y'all to come with us and see what happens on this, because we need all our hands. We can all do something. You don't have to talk to people if you don't want to. You can visit with the people if you want to as they come in. But if you want to just hang and do those things, you know, that's the greatest job ever was. That's a lot, you know, when you got several bags. I take a trailer up every year. The Thanksgiving meals is, there's a church down in west of Murfreesboro, and I don't know, their name is it is Chapel Hill. They take and do a Thanksgiving meal up there. Now, the other ministry me and my wife does is Christmas meals. Now, if you would go back to that. That's all right, that's all right. This is what we did one year as a Christmas meal. Basically, the way we do the ministry is this. We have a grocery store, and get this, I'm telling you all kinds of little crazy things. This guy who owns this grocery store, his parking lot is Georgia and Tennessee. And part of his thing is in Copper Hill, Tennessee, and McCaysville, Georgia. So, but anyway, what we do, I call him, I say, we want to do 200 meals. Now, where do you get that magic number at? I believe the Lord for the funds. And what he does, he gives us a price. Like last year, it was $27. It'll feed a family of 4. Only thing they have to do is cook it. And so what we do, the Lord gives us the funds. We go up there. I give him the check. He gives us the food. He brings all of this there to us. The first few years, we learned a hard lesson. We took 300 turkeys up there and about 3 or 4 pallets worth of canned goods. And when you're going up hills like that, it's a lot of pulling. But we did that, but we come across this gentleman. He's a Christian man, and they have a great ministry up there. He's a gospel singer also, and they make that provision. And what we do, we give away at least 200 every year. And if God gives us more funds, what we do, we go on and do this. We leave them there at the center. If there's some left over, they're given out within the first week after Christmas, when it gets to the first year. But here's the thing, unique thing about this. That we just don't take this up there. There you go, sir. I'll get out of your way. We just don't take this food up there and dump it off. What we did when COVID came along, that changed our life, didn't it? It changed my life. I had COVID and double pneumonia. I was on oxygen from August to October. I could tell you a story, but we don't have time tonight on that. But going back, it changed our lives, and it changed the ministry the way we had to do it. So basically, the people you'll see in the next thing. Well, it's not on that one, but it'll show you on this next one how we do that that mission work. Let's go on to the next one. We'll talk about the Christmas meals. So they have a Christmas room. I've actually taught Vacation Bible School out of that room right there. And what they do, people take some used toys and new toys up there, and then they have where the children have the opportunity to go down right before Christmas. And that's one of the ministries that the center provides. Okay, let's go to the next one, please. Christmas backpacks is another thing that they do up there. And with the Baptist, they provide this portable dental chair and all that. They do that up there, okay? Also, if you like guys, you like to do construction. They do construction. They have opportunities to go out and help work on someone's home. Give you an example of something, a house that we knew of that was up there. Children came to Vacation Bible School one time, and they was talking about their home. They was talking about the floor. And literally, in the bathroom where the toilet was, everything else had rotted out except just a few planks going out to the toilet. Just like going out on a diving board. We don't really know how people really live that are around us. And so there's all opportunities. Here's just some of the opportunities of things that they've done up there. Okay. Here's some work. This is actually at the front of the center, and this is actually some things that was done around the center itself. And there's always opportunities to work and do things around the center. There's a lot of things. Okay. Hot dog meals. There's some ministries that went up there and did hot dog meals and have carnivals and stuff like that. Cleaning and hygiene items. This is one need they have real bad right now. That's one on the top of the list. I have a list, if you desire, you'd like to have it with me, and of what they're needing bad right now. They need diapers for children or aged for size 3. So this is the area where they keep this. If a person was to come in and they need some, Jan and them work about getting them some of the items they need. They also provide at least one bag of groceries per month. Now that don't sound like a lot, but you know, when you're depending upon the Lord and donations and everything, they do get USDA. But let me tell you something I learned about up there. If you lived in Georgia and you come into Tennessee, you can't get USDA from Tennessee. You've got to get it from, it's that government stuff. So, but they had one ministry of heaters up there. Volunteers. We was able to see the volunteers that work up there during the week. We stayed one night and got to meet them. And it was a blessing to see the people from the local churches in the community, also in Georgia and North Carolina area come in that helped them there in Tennessee. It's a blessing to see of the local people there. All right. This is where they stock food. This is one of their freezers. As you see, it's USDA, and then these are particular food places that have come in, and what they're doing is actually delivering there. That's more food. That's another one of their food rooms. These are the bags that they give out. They give them the old-fashioned bags. You know, you remember those days? You don't see them at Walmart no more, do you? So what they do, they've got a guide of food distribution, how to fill the food sacks. So that's all done by who? Volunteers. Okay. This is some of our folks. This was these two ladies. They're actually from DeKalb County that we've known when we was in when we was pastoring up there. We pastored up in DeKalb County for 21 and a half years, and And these folks went with us to be a part of the ministry. So you can see here where all the clothes and everything goes. Okay, this is items they're always in need of. They're in need of, basic needs of home. One year we went up there, we took stoves. I had people had like their used stove. Have you ever had somebody says, "I'm tired of this stove, I want a new one"? Ladies, you ever did that? Still works. Maybe you have a washing machine or a dryer, and the way they work these days, if you're stacking all this stuff, you can't get the same model and whatnot. That's what happened to us, and we took a what is it, dryer? Was it a dryer up? So all those type of big items that sometime you do have something like that. I even took a refrigerator up there one time. So those are items and basic needs for people to sit on like that. This is some items here was actually given to us, and we took them up there. Okay. This right here, all this is clothes. This is clothes that could not be used because they was torn or it was bad. So they have the opportunity of this. If they bail them, they're able to maybe get some more funds back in the system so they can buy for something else. Okay, that's what that's all about. Okay, now you have to this is not my pictures. This is their pictures, but this is their dogs, their own personal dog. See, they told me, tell them, never mind the dogs. So this is what they do. How does God provide for the ministry there? Local churches in the association. In our association that we're involved in, I'm at Short Creek Baptist Church in Christiana. We have 42 churches in our association. They have 12. And let me tell you something. Their churches are very small there. So they don't have a lot larger churches. They don't have full-time ministry churches. They only have maybe one or two that are full-time. The Tennessee Baptist Mission Board, Compassion Ministries, grants from that area there, donations of money, goods, and services from brothers and sisters across denominational lines, both local and other cities, and GuideStar. These are some of the areas of how the place is ran. And let me tell you something. If Jan and Stuart was here right now, they've been to our church, and they're willing to come to your church and stand before you and talk to you. They're always thankful for anything that is done for God's glory. There's so many times I've stood up on that hill and seen God work in a great and mighty way. Vicky's going to share some stories. And we'll talk a little bit more about in our second PowerPoint. It's real short about more ministry work.
This is not my stronghold because I don't like to be up in front of people. But anyway, I wanted to share just a few stories with you about up there. We've been going probably around 18 years we've been doing this. And we were going and doing a week-long vacation Bible school every summer. And so the teams that we had, they would pay so much money a piece to go. And what that money would do is it would buy our food for the week. It would also pay for the place that we stayed. We'd rent a house up there, and everybody would stay just kind of laid out everywhere. If you could find a place, you're good. And then we would also, for the week of Bible school, on Tuesday and Thursday night, we would have a service that night. And what we would do is we would have the church service, and then we would have a meal for them. So we might have hamburgers for them one night and have spaghetti for them the other night. We also gave out gas cards, and the people would come for the gas cards because they would have to get to doctor's appointments, but they didn't have the gas to do that. And we found that out, so that's why we gave out gas cards. And so that took care of that. Well, one year, there was a little boy that we had met in Bible school, and his name was, what was his name? Anyway, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway.
Right one up, we don't know him.
I can't believe I can't. Well, anyway, so he was in Bible school one day, and he was short, he was stocky, just the cutest little thing. Whenever we'd do crafts, he would always pick the color pink, and anything that we did, he wanted to do his in pink. And so this one little boy told him one year, he says, well, that's just a sissy to pick pink. He said, why would a boy pick pink? And he looked at him, and I almost had his name. And he looked at him and he said, pink is a good color. And the little boy said, yes, it is. So he never said anything else about pink the rest of the week. But we watched this child grow up. And so one year when we were up there, his mom and dad had come to the night that we had revival, and they got a phone call while we were there, and so his mother started crying, and we're like, what is wrong? And she said, he has been in a terrible accident, a car crash, and they don't know if he's going to live. And she says, but the thing is, we don't have any money to get to him. And so usually our team used every bit of the money that we had collected for the gas cards and the place to stay, and because we'd make lunches for the children every day. Before they left Bible school, they left with a meal. And so that particular year, we had money left over in our account that it was just enough to get his parents up to where they needed to be with him. So we just said, thank you, God, for that. I'm going to ask you a question. It's a rhetorical question, so I don't want you to answer out loud.
Well, we don't know his name still.
Well, he's not involved in this one, okay? But anyway, so, but don't answer out loud, and don't raise your hand, okay? And it's a weird question, but you'll see why I'm asking. How many of you have multiple pairs of underwear? I know. Well, so we laugh about that. But anyway, every year we would hone in on one particular item that they may need, that they said, hey, we've got need of this. So one year it was underwear. And so we took these little containers and had from little sizes all the way up to adults, for men and women and boys and girls, and had them all in these little bins, sized and everything. So these two young girls, probably in their 30s, late 20s maybe, came, and so they asked them, would y'all like to go to Bible school? And they said, we don't know what Bible school is. And they said, well, it's just an everyday Bible school teaching, and if you don't like it, you can just get up and leave. Well, in the room Steve was showing you he was in, when you walked in the door of this place, it was just a little room, and then right here was all these shelves. Well, that's where we had all of the underwear. And so Lisa had brought them down to show them where the adult room was. Well, the girl, Lisa, just happened to turn and said, hey, would you like some underwear? And she said, you're going to give me some underwear? And she said, yeah. And she said, okay. So Lisa said, what is your size? And she told her. So Lisa found her size and handed her the pack. Well, the girl starts ripping open the package. And Lisa said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm getting me a pair out. And Lisa said, no. She said, you get to keep the whole pack. And the girl started crying. And she said, I've never had but one pair of underwear my whole life. And that's 3 hours from here. And so we take so many things for granted, you know. And then I'm going to end with a funny story. So one of our revival nights, these three little kids were there. Their parents didn't come. They'd bring them and drop them off. So they wanted to come to one of the revival services that night. So we said, that's fine. We'll bring them home after the revival service. We said, will you please be there? And they said, yes, we'll be there waiting on you to bring them in. So we got to their house, and Mom and Dad's not there. So we just kind of sat there. And so then for some reason, they were going to go in the house for a minute. Well, the one little boy, which he went in and then the other two followed, went in and they came running back out. Their mom and dad had a fish tank that was probably about the three-fourths of this table size and had a snake in it. One of the big ones that, why people want them, I don't know. But anyway, it had gotten out in the house. So they're like, the snake is out, the snake is out. And I'm like, I ain't getting out and looking for it. So I told them, I said, y'all come and get back in the van. Maybe your mom and dad will be here in a minute. So the little girl's just tripping. She's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna eat my dog, he's gonna eat my dog. And I'm like, he's not eating your dog, he's standing in the window yelling at us. It was just, rup, 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 rup. So the parents never showed up. We'd been there for about 45 minutes, they never showed up. So then this other guy pulls in and they're like, oh, it's Uncle so-and-so. And so they get out and say, the snake has gotten out of its tank. And he said, all right. So he said, I'll go get it. So he went in the house, he found it, and no big deal to him, you know. So he said, just bring the kids, I'll take them in with me and they can stay here till the parents get out. You know, well, before that, probably it had to be the same week, we'd gone up to the house and was telling the parents about it. Well, the little girl said, Miss Vicki, come here and look at our snake. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting near it. I'm not coming in the house. I'm just going to, because that snake was about this big around. Oh, so, you know, you never know what you're going to get on a mission trip. But like Steve said, we would love to have y'all go with us because we have just fell in love with these people. We see some of the same people year after year after year, and we just absolutely love them. And y'all would too. So we'd love to have you if you'd like to go.
The story she told you about, the lady in underwear, she came in our vacation Bible school class. She came in our vacation Bible school class and sat down, and I am a person, I love VBS. My name is Mr. VBS, if you're kindly, and I believe in adult VBS. I believe when we don't offer a full thing for the whole church, we miss part of the ministry. She came in, and she came in there, and I was teaching on about Jesus, about being born again that day. It used to be day 3. It was now it's day 4 in VBS if you're using Lifeways. But anyway, she came in and sat down, and I was telling about him down on the cross, the resurrection, and she just starts bawling in the midst of the service while I'm talking. I says, "Are you all right?" And she says, "I says, let me ask you something. Are you born again?" She says, "Yes, I'm born again." She says, "But I have been in prison, and I just got out. And I've got a lot of burdens on my life." You know what happened? That VBS class was sitting around, we was talking about, had been doing crafts and all that. We started praying for her, and God took every burden from that girl. God sent that girl in that class through a pair of underwear. How small can it be? Let me show you just a few things we'll close. This is one of the ministries me and my wife does. First one was the hat, coats, and gloves, okay? And the other slides is the overall ministry of the place. This was last year's meal that cost $27, okay? If you notice back here, that's all the bags packed. This is the hens. We had to buy hens because turkey was so high last year. So this is the meal. If you would go to the next one, please. This is just this whole ministry. This is this particular gentleman. He drove all the way for almost South Alabama to go up there, close to, southern Tennessee. Well, right at the edge of the border, Tennessee and Alabama, to go up there that day. And that's just inside the trailer. He's getting meals ready. That's a friend of mine, lives down in Smyrna. He went along, and what he did, his part of the ministry was putting it in the back and saying, "May the Lord bless you." Okay? So the next part is this is the vehicles up there in the area lined up for this day. This is the ministry of the people waiting. They're usually waiting at 8 o'clock in the morning for the ministry to begin at 10 o'clock. Okay? I think you know who this is. She doesn't look like she does right now. It's cold up there. The last December, it was cold up there.
If there's something on my head, you know it's gold.
So what happens is the people come up. Each individual will get a basic information from them. This is not necessarily for us to keep information, but we do bring it back, because what we do after the fact, we always would bring it back to our church and lay it at the front and have people come and pray for those people the next morning after we get back. Okay? And so what happens, we give a copy to them. I give a copy to them, and what happens, and what they do, like Vicki did, you pray with each family and ask their needs right there in the vehicle. Okay? Hey, this is some kids that came. He was trying to get the spotlight, wasn't he? All right. That's Brother Tim Key. He is the mission strategist for over in Sheville, Tennessee. He was with us. See these people? They was in my vacation Bible school class up there. They was in need of wood one year. And we took, you're going to say this is crazy. I've made a promise to that woman right there that I'll bring you wood. I brought that wood. You say I'm crazy? That's okay. It's all the Lord. I brought wood all the way from Rutherford County, and I drove it all the way up the hill with my trailer and some, and took it down. They live in North Georgia. Took it down in Georgia, and the Lord blessed them. Amen. But they come. These are good people right here. They're part of our extended family. Our extended family, okay? This is the team that went last year. These two people are the ones that runs the grocery store. He's the gentleman and his wife. And we've got one more. He's taking the picture. This is all we had last year. We want you to go with us this year and just be our hands and feet and work alongside us. We're going on December 20th. Now, a lot of people say, well, December 20th, that's close to Christmas. Yes, but let me tell you something. Just because it's Christmas, needs doesn't go away. Amen? The greatest thing we do is give of ourselves to help someone else, and that's not necessarily always with your billfold. It's with our hands and our feet and loving people. All right? That's it. Okay.
The little boy's name is James.
James.
I just thought of it.
Hey,
Well, I'm glad we found that out, because I wouldn't have been able to sleep away.
Well, I knew you would.
so the overall thing was the ministry of the first PowerPoint, like I said, was the ministry of the whole Copper Basin. The ministry that me and my wife do is the hats, coats, and gloves, and the Christmas meals. Also, we take items up at other times, and we would love for y'all to go with us. Let me ask you a question. Got any questions real quick? I know I've talked a lot, but I could tell you so many stories. Anybody got, Brother Pastor, if you would come up here. Amanda, would you come up here? Amanda, I want to give you a rock. This rock is yours. And Pastor, this rock is yours to pray over.
How many times somebody giving you a rock?
And guess what? Each one of you will be able to leave with a rock, a piece of the copper basin tonight. And what I want you to do is this with this rock. Put it somewhere you see it every day. And when you see it every day, you say, Lord, I pray that you'd bless that area. You would touch the people that live there. And you know something? God will work miracles with that simple, simple prayer. So we got your rock.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you leave from on November the 1st?
Usually where we'll leave from is we usually pull into Wally World parking lot out there on Jackson, out on Joe B, and then we leave from there. But here's the thing. We leave promptly. We have to go because we got a 3-hour trip. We got to eat and get set up by 10 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If we accumulate things, how do we get them to you? Or do we keep them here at some point and then take them all at one time? Or
Well,
how does that work?
You can.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
We'll get together, our mission board will get together and we'll get some plans together.
Okay.
And we'll get in touch.
Okay.
To be decided.
Right.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Wait, is she taking over?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Anything else?
No, the committee, yes, like she said, the team, will, yeah.
Let me say this. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know how many people live up there in that area.
Well, I can't tell you exactly. I'd have to look at a population map.
Oh, okay.
They have the ministry. You know, God tells us to go in all the world and preach the gospel. That ministry hub reaches more. It reaches Georgia. It reaches also North Carolina and the Tennessee area. So it reaches forth. It's got a big footprint up there. So, well, I want to thank you so much for come sharing. And if you want to hear some other stories, we'll be glad to stay, or got questions, be glad to stay as long as you like, because I don't have to get up and go to work in the morning. I got retired from a regular job. But I thank you for allowing us to be here. May the Lord bless you. You have a beautiful church here.